Welcome to Creative Vitality Jam Sessions. Here, we have intimate conversations with extraordinary dance and theater artists about reimagining creativity and supporting and building community. Creative Vitality Jam Sessions and I walk in solidarity and as allies for equality, justice, and respect, because Black lives matter, and we will keep walking the walk for change to come. I'm Helen Pickett, and today's guest is Bethany Kingsley-Garner. She's a principal dancer with Scottish Ballet, and Beth and I have known each other since 2015. Beth, I am so happy to have you here. Hi.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's so good to see you. I miss you. This is a great way to see friends. I get to see people I've worked with and friends. That's one of the best aspects of this talk show. And you look radiant, I have to say.
Oh, well, as well, thank you to you. Like, these have just been amazing. The people, the inspirational speakers, they have just been perfect for right now.
Thank you. So we need to hear from where you're from, because you're not in the United States. Where are you?
I am in Glasgow, in my home on the River Clyde, with my husband and 2 cats.
Oh, I didn't know you had cats.
Yes, 2 cats, yeah.
Lovely. So Beth, actually, I said that we've known each other since 2015, but it's actually 2013,
yes,
isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah. Because we did the room together. Yeah. That first thing we did for Scottish Ballet.
Yes, back for the Edinburgh Festival.
Exactly, the miniatures program.
Yes.
Yeah. So 2013. Beth, I want to start with hearing a bit more about your community class, because what really took me is that you said you have students that range from 3 to 103. That's amazing, and it's all via Zoom, of course. So let me hear about that first, and then there's something at the end you do that I find really beautiful as far as inspiration.
So I think during this lockdown period, we had to adapt working from home, and I was doing classes in my living room, and I just thought I still want to be able to connect with people, to still share this joy, to still get creative. And Scottish Ballet started these dance health classes, which are incredible. And I came forward and said I would absolutely love to take part in doing a community ballet class, family bar, and it is for all age groups. So from the age of 3 to 103. So you can imagine that's hard to adapt a class. But it's just been so lovely for me to have that half an hour each Friday, and I plan the warm-up. I do maybe 2 to 3 exercises at the bar. It's themed, so not only are people getting a chance to learn to dance, they're learning about characters and ballets, imagination. And I just have been overwhelmed. One week we had 30,000 come in and take the class, and I just think what people have been taking from this is just, firstly, me dancing in my living room, but being able to share and connect and be present. And that was so important for me to feel that with Scottish Ballet, and it's been lovely.
Yeah, and you just said, you know, the magic words, which people, it's funny. So what is it? I got I went into lockdown in mid-March, right? March 12th was literally, we did the dress rehearsal at Boston Ballet, and the next day they came in for premiere, and that was it. So that was March 12th. And, you know, like many, I've gone through all the cycles, you know, and yeah. I think now it's interesting, in these later talk shows, I've heard people, we're coming around to, okay, so we can't see each other, we can't physically be with each other, especially here in the US, but humankind needs to connect.
Yes.
And that, you know, we're finding ways now, because I've said it a million times in these talks, but necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah.
We will find a way to connect. So it's kind of heartening. And also the protests here in America and how we're, maybe this is the age, a dawning age.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also I want to hear, because I found this so beautiful, that you end every class, so themed class, which I also really love. So you are like, you're reimagining for these people. You're giving them a place to jump off from.
Mm-hmm.
That you have a poem. What an enriching idea. So you read a poem at the end of these classes, or?
So at the end of the class, we've kind of learned the little dance we're doing with the music, and then I pick a poem that goes with the theme. So I thought it was really important that people understand that dance and movement isn't just inspired by music. You can also be inspired by words. And for people's first thought, who are maybe more literacy forward, that they can still be inspired by listening to the sea, just those words saying, or feeling the breeze. And we can add movements to it. So it's giving them another point of inspiration to their everyday lives, of reading a book, to reading a sign, that actually poetry is another way we can evolve our bodies and be creative.
Yeah, because poetry has rhythm.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. Okay, so another thing I'm really like blown away by, you're learning sign language.
Yes.
What can you speak to that inspiration? What started you on the journey? How is it inspiring you? What is it teaching you?
So it would have been about 5 years ago, I took part in a workshop with a company called Solar Bear, who's a deaf company. And I just absolutely was just blown over with the way they even hear rhythm of tapping on the floor, how they can see how fast dance is going to be from the conductor. And I really wanted to be able to, in our inclusive performances, to be able to sign words to people to understand what we're feeling. So, I could say, today I feel joyful, or, the weather is good. And I love the word for feel. It's this coming up. And I just felt as if it was something that is still so, look at how we talk as well is with movement, and to find that a lot of ballet steps are the same. So combattement is the same. Keeping your hips straight. You would say, you're keeping hips straight, lengthen the spine. These things are what we use every day, but actually we're opening our vocabulary to more.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
And it must have also changed your idea of movement yourself, right? Within your body.
Yeah, and the teacher I learned of is a dancer himself. Oh. So that was just perfect, that we were able to converse dance terminology, and it was almost kind of a mutual love of the art that inspired our sign language to go further. And we met in a park about 2 weeks ago and was able to sign our movement for the first time, and it was just beautiful.
That's beautiful. That's and also, that's something that could carry you into, dancers, we all have to retire, right? You don't know.
Yes.
That's the thing when I read your biography, and pretty much a lot of these people, all of these people who I'm lucky enough to call my friends, I really see there is such a rich, there's such a plethora of ideas that I feel it's so important to educate, let's say, the public about how involved and how in depth a dancer's life is, because we know we have a certain amount of time. And a lot of us are very curious about other things because I believe that art breeds art.
Yes.
And so, you know, your sign language, you know, perhaps, who knows what happens, you know, with this idea, this composite idea that you have with teaching and poetry. I mean,
We aren't just one thing. We're not just, I'm a dancer. It's, I'm a dancer. I can speak sign language. I create. And I think it's opening the possibilities. Everyone has more strings to their bow, and it's accepting that. And that's a great thing to be able to say and have.
Yeah, and I think that we could serve as inspiration for regular, you know, non-dancer people to say, listen, the world is bigger. You know, it has to do with curiosity, you know, and then intention. But yeah. Okay, another thing, another venture. I mean, it's just I love this because talk about reimagining, which is a big part of the show. You're in the final design period for your dance range BKG collaborating move dance wear. Please explain.
I mean, this is just so exciting, and it's been something that's been spread over a few years now. I first collaborated with Move Dance just for one of their collections, and from then how we got on, how our kind of conversation was, it was definitely the start of something. And then this collaboration has happened called BKG. The inspiration was actually, I opened my ballet tight drawer at work and I picked out a pair of tights that had the name of a retired principal. You know, you kind of get the leftovers of things.
Yeah.
And I just felt really great that I was going to be wearing her tights. And that thing of how can we impart that to dancers in studios, to have that little bit of inspiration, that motivation, that they can also be wearing something each day, or it could be their, you know, their lucky leotard, or just something that they feel positive in. So that's how it started. And then my love for ballerinas that have loved and gone before us, that kind of keeping that alongside the modern day dancer and principal today, how has that developed? And yeah, that's what's happened. So I'm so excited.
It sounds wonderful, because what I also hear you saying is you're building on history.
Yeah, I love history, and I especially love the history of dance, and I'm not one to not recognize the footsteps we are walking in, and keep developing and keep changing now.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful idea. I love it. So many ideas came to me as I was listening to you about building on history. Like, I'm sure you've thought of these things, but you know, taking designs from old leotards, for example. I know you love Margot Fontaine.
Yes.
So like going to what she might have, you know, old historical photos of her, of what she might have. Remember that scoop neck?
Yes.
Remember that long sleeve scoop neck leotard that was such a big, I had teachers that wore those also in San Francisco Ballet School. Yeah. Wow. Okay, let's get to you as a dancer. You trained at the Royal Ballet School in London. You won many prizes while in school, danced with the main company while in school. And how did this rigorous conservatory life influence you? What did you, because I came from a conservatory as well. I didn't live like you do in, you know, at the Royal Ballet School. I lived with my parents, but San Francisco Ballet was a conservatory. So how did this rigorous conservatory life influence you? Yeah, let's just leave it at that. See what.
Being around other friends and dancers with the same passion just absolutely fueled me. It was something that I really believe I started my work ethic from there. Again, talking about the history, just being at the lower school, we had a studio named after Anne Pavlova. And I remember looking at the black and white pictures of her with this swan around, and I, you know, kind of stood at the bar and seeing these pictures, walking into school, touching the gold finger of Margaret Fontaine, we all used to touch so much that it was so worn down. But just being surrounded by it, and given the opportunity to let that flow was something that I just wanted to work for, and I loved I loved working for it. And the friends are friends for life. You make that, you grow up together, you go through so much. So that's something that you can take away if you carry on, if you don't. The work and the friends you make are gold dust.
Well, I have to say, you know, I've worked with you on a few projects now, and the latest one was in a really big role, a leading role, Elizabeth Proctor in The Crucible. And what I can say about, you know, I always have a thing. I'm also a history person, and really, I really think it's important to acknowledge those who I've learned from. I've done it, and I believe in it. But what I have to say about your work ethic as a choreographer is, you know, even if it's not, and this is what I'm talking about being a principal dancer. There are criteria that I think of being a leading dancer, and because the little ones are watching you, right? But you, even when it's not your role, I find you listening, because you realize that in a role like Elizabeth Proctor, you know, and she is the heroine of the piece, it's not just your roles that's making you Elizabeth Proctor, it's your community that is making you Elizabeth Proctor. So that community in the ballet studio that's built, I always find you listening. You know, I see you thinking about even what you wear in the studio, that Elizabeth Proctor, you know, so you might embody her in a different way in where you are. You come into the studio and you are where you are in that moment. And I have to recognize on this interview, the work ethic is, your work ethic is extraordinary. And I can tell that you live and breathe dance in such an intrinsic way. You can feel the love. And that, from a choreographer, and I'm sure Christopher Hansen feels it, this is, talk about gold dust. You know, this is a company member that is exactly that. You're a company member. You're not alone in your principal status. And I think that is very important to remember for people listening, that even in companies that have these ranks, those ranks speak to perhaps, you know, your work, but it doesn't speak to separation. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think you can't be doing a principal role at the very front and not thinking about everyone on stage making the performance with you. I think that then that's not a performance.
And there's also that equality of you holding them up, they're holding you up. Yeah. There's this thing that must happen together, you know. And I know you love researching character roles, and we had James Bonus on this project as well. It is part of the next question, so I think I'll just go to that. So as a principal dancer with Scottish Ballet, you have had the chance to create and dance many character roles and contemporary roles. Has this practice of reimagining shaped or shifted your approach to your art?
Definitely. And, you know, I have to say as well to you, Helen, that you also have had a huge influence in my journey of letting go and feeling liberated. And I think that as soon as a dancer, for me personally, as soon as I trusted myself, and as soon as I let myself have the opportunity and possibility to expand and to go there, I became free. I became the dancer I wanted to be. I became how I felt. And I just felt excited to want to get back into the studio to feel that feeling again. And that is what art and being creative for me was about. It's about reimagining. It's about how far can I go today, and I'm not talking about how far can I go in strength. It's how far will my journey go. When will that hair stand up on my arms today? And that's really my kind of, I mean, it's not really bite size, is it? That's a huge thing, but what I developed has made my journey beautiful internally for me. And yeah, trusting yourself is has given me the ability to love my work.
That's beautiful. I actually got chills when I listened to you speak just now, because I think every artist, I'll speak about dancers, every dancer who has actually felt that trust. I also speak about being dropped in, you know, knowing that feeling can be recalled instantaneously. And I literally got chills because I was with you in that moment of knowing that feeling of trust, and also trusting, you know, the choreographer in the front of the room, and you know, and
it doesn't happen on your own.
Yes, I agree.
I think, you know, a lot of it, yes, but you have to be open to listen, and you have to be open to take the involvement of your journey. Because if you're not, if there's a slightest bit hesitant or closed, you know, that takes time to work through. But listen to the people around you, and take that, be like a sponge.
And doesn't it, I think courage is a big word here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's courageous. Yeah. It's courageous to show yourself.
Yeah,
it is. So there's a second part to this question. You and I worked very closely on the Crucible. And I've already said it was really a joy to see how you approach your work. I did not say this, and I also believe it. You're very humble and ready for change. I think this in and of itself is something just to touch down on a bit, Beth, because I also think that we don't arrive. You know, I think humans don't arrive. I think arriving might be hopefully at the end of a long life, but that journey you spoke of, that readiness to change, you already spoke about it, but I'm saying it in many different ways, because you never know it's people who are listening. You know?
I think your journey never ends. Your journey is constantly going. And it was when you had Andre on, and he said something about the river still flows even if it changes direction. I mean, that's it. Your love and creativity will still flow even if there's a few meanders along the way. You take that ride, because you'll learn something from each rock you go over.
Right? You'll have to repair your boat sometimes.
Yeah.
Our work started in 2013 on the Room. And I have to say, that's also a big gift as a choreographer, to see you grow, you know. And I was considering whether, you know, your face then I just loved, I have to say. And I reminded you of that during the Crucible. I don't know, I decided maybe I shouldn't say it now, but I really loved that phase you were in during the Room, as a personal expression, I should say. And I think also, you know, those phases of the human being and youth, and letting yourself go through all of those iterations as a human being. And you said it too, the sum of our lives is what makes us dancers, not just
exactly. You're not just someone in the studio and someone in your outside life. You are the same person. So there has to be that balance of journey together.
Yes, beautiful. Okay, here we are. Can you share a favorite or impactful memory from your creative life? I know there were many.
Yeah, I mean, how long do we have? I have one special one where I performed Juliet in London at the Sadler's Wells, and for me, the last time I was there was when I was very young, doing a little, I think it was a ballet competition where I had my teachers come, and for them to come back again and to see me embody a role, not a role that I lost myself on stage. And those feelings are so lovely, where you maybe open your eyes for a moment and you forget where you are, because you are living and breathing that performance.
Yes.
So to have not just the performance, but the people around me, the people in the audience I love, was very special and a definite part of my journey. But with memories, I mean, the sound of when the curtain goes up and the kind of the chain makes that noise, the violins warming up for a performance, you know, I love the point of, you kind of have the stage there and you have backstage, and it's just one little wall of the kind of memory of how you feel and the feeling there before you step on. All of these I put into my ballet box and treasure.
Yeah, you know, Beth, you reminded me of a memory that I still do it. You know, that it's either before everybody's gotten there, so when that ghost light is on stage, when everybody leaves. I have no desire to be on stage anymore, but when I stand on that empty stage and I look out at the empty audience, I'm completely, like, everything floods again to me. And that, you know, I wouldn't have spent a lifetime of dance if you know what I mean about the love. But yeah, that is something that's always taken me. It's all those details you spoke of is so true. Even the smell, right? And the theaters.
The smell, the sounds. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have, I know you do. Do you have an insight or daily inspiration that you can share for perhaps living right now in this creative life, or in general, or both?
I definitely have a strong internal kind of get up and go and motivation. So for me, it was working with that and letting for my day-to-day life, how is that going to form for me? And I just look after myself, and it's not doing things like or what do I need to do today? It's loving your body, your heart, your mind. That's how I train. I train because I know the feeling I'm going to feel after, and that's what I enjoy doing. So I love getting out for walks. I do my walk or my run down the River Clyde, and I see the beautiful swans. I love seeing space around me, open space. So I think, again, that kind of, that doing what you love, doing it for yourself, knowing that when you're feeling tired, trying to focus on your mind of what is tired.
Yes.
You know, and I use this in my dance as well, not in my everyday life. We all have that feeling, especially dancers will know, when we get into that middle bit of that solo and you are feeling tired, yes, of suddenly going, what is tired? Focus on what you're feeling tired. Because a lot of the time, it could just be that your mind is exhausted from doing the 3 acts before that solo. Absolutely. And then actually you automatically refresh yourself. So it's being in control of what you know what's going on. And I do want to say there's an amazing quote by Michael Jordan, who is a basketball player, and he actually says, "Why would I be afraid to miss a shot that I have not taken yet?"
Oh, beautiful.
and that says enough, doesn't it? Why be scared of failure if you haven't even tried or you don't know? So in terms of everyday inspiration or motivation, give yourself the possibilities.
I love the Jordan quote, but what I love even more was the line you said, and this really hit me, so thank you for that. What is tired? Because it is
exactly, it's different for everyone. And I'm not saying that when you are generally exhausted, not going, well, I'm not tired. No. Because you know when you're really, but it's just learning not to get into a downward spiral.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about when you're in the middle of something and you perhaps have this thing like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to go on. In a role, or when you're tackling something, you know, that's what I meant. Absolutely, not in like
when you're having to, you know, you're waking up one day and you're feeling lethargic, or you know, understanding why you are.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, so we're at the last question, which is an important one. In supporting and building a more equitable community, what do you believe needs to be shifted or changed?
I feel what needs to be shifted creatively is to be people to open up that creativity and talent isn't influenced by race, gender identity, cultural background, economic background, and neither should opportunity. So creativity is embodied in every single one of us. It's different in every single one of us. You can be very plain and go, not everyone will do a demi-plie the same as the next person, but it's creativity, it's art. That opportunity is open for everyone to be creative, everyone to have that talent. The opportunities are there. So being present, having the role models, being there for the younger generation, knowing it's possible. That's how I feel.
Beautiful. Yeah, living by example, creating the space so all walks of life can experience art. Yeah, and then, you know, being there for our youth. Beautiful. Yeah. Beth, you know, you're just a remarkable person, you know, and I feel a really strong intention and will that, you know, once you decide to leave the stage, and you have many years, you will go on and be one of our very strong, influential, kind, generous female leaders. And I'm really, really excited about that prospect. I have to say that. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you today. What I want to do, if you don't mind staying with me until the end, I want to say, first of all, thank you for this insightful and generous chat that we've had. And I want to ask you if you have tags, you know, or a website where people can, for example, find out more about you, but also about your new line, your teaching perhaps, or your Instagram tag.
So I am on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as my full name, Bethany Kingsley-Garner. And I love hearing people's stories, their messages, and they write, I reply back. So you know, it's another way of connecting and inspiring other people, and as they inspire me too.
Beautiful, thank you. So, and also, so you will be able to read a short bio once this interview is uploaded to our YouTube channel, Creative Vitality Jam Sessions. In the description page below the video, you will see a short bio from Beth. I'm calling her Beth, but Bethany. And we have 2 sessions every week that go up on Tuesdays and Sundays. And our next session will be with a former colleague of mine, a very dear and old friend, Tony Rizzi, formerly of the Frankfurt Ballet. He is a choreographer, performer, and director now. And I want to say my thanks. So Beth, first of all, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure talking with you today. Truly inspirational. I want to thank the amazing dance community that I'm humbled and so honored to be a part of every single day. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank the extraordinary young person, Gracie Spina, who is my co-producer and intern for this show. I couldn't do it without you. And thanks again to you, Beth.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're a joy. Keep reimagining creativity, and I hope to see all of you sooner than later. Bye.
Bye.